Here's the question. How do you make the impossible possible? Simple. Remove the I am, the ego. Now, how do you step into that newfound possibility? With a series of small intentional steps. Never forget, the greatest among us started from humble beginnings. But to truly unlock your potential, realize you're here for something greater. If you're yearning for more than just a good life, let's take that small step together to reach greatness. Welcome to the Greatness from Small Beginnings podcast, where we're talking to those who have gone from mediocrity to motivated, overlooked to overachieving, forgettable to unforgettable. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hello, everybody. I want you to know that getting on every week here is kind of therapeutic. Partly because I watch for things to say. There's a lot I have to say. There's a lot of pent-up stuff inside of me that has to do with my views of life and living and living as God's person in this world and living out my faith with intention, with intentionality. And so I watch for these things all the time, and it strikes a thought about, my past or something that's going on in my mind that's like, I need to talk through this, and I tend to process verbally. Anyway, so you are on the receiving end of my processing often, and sometimes my thoughts are not perfectly complete, but you end up on the receiving end of hopefully some thoughts that are encouraging you. So thank you for listening, and hello. So today, little backstory, I went to get a physical for a particular reason. Nothing's going on. It's just every couple of years, this particular type of physical happens. Okay. So I went and get the physical, and up in the doctor, he's a chiropractor, it's certified to do this particular type of physical. On the wall is this picture of this list of things. I thought, well, that's interesting. So every chance I got, I viewed it, and I looked at different things. And then I got to thinking, well, it's so positive that it's a good thing to say on my podcast because it meant something to me while I was sitting there looking at it. It's like, okay, there's a lot going on in my life right now that doesn't feel wonderful. Like it isn't wonderful. It's not what I would describe as my highest and greatest kind of life. But that being said, I want the highest and greatest life, no matter the circumstances. So I'm going to go through this list. It's a fairly long list. And most of these I'm not going to revise. I'm just going to say them the way they were written. But it was a poster, and it went a long ways. I had to get close enough to see all the words. I had to take 3 pictures of it so that I could capture it all. And then I kind of just rewrote it, changed a few words here and there to something more relevant. For instance, one of the things was, you'll find out in a minute, about leaving a quarter. I say in a vending machine, and they said in a telephone. So that means this thing is probably 30 or 40 years old. The poster is. But the sentiment is nonetheless correct. So, drink a coffee here and I'll get started. All right. So here we go. Encouraging suggestions and things to think about. Things to remember. Things to not avoid. Begin each day with your favorite music. Now, I'm not big on music, but there is a routine I do in my day, and the first thing I do is an act of service for my wife. And that to me is super important. I get up, whether I want to get up or not, I hop up. This is the days of the weekly. And I go downstairs, I turn the lights on full blast, grab a water, start drinking a bottle of water, and usually during that time when I'm making her coffee, I will drink that entire bottle of water. Part of the thing I do in the morning, seems to really help. Then I usually wait about an hour before I drink coffee, because I've heard, and it works for me, it really works for me, that if you wait an hour to hour and a half before you drink your first coffee, then your metabolism's had a chance to change, and then you don't end up tired in the afternoon. It's really worked for me. Anyway, I better get going here. I'm not going to get through the list. Thanks for being patient. Let's see. I said, begin each day with your favorite music. For me, it's something different than that, but begin each day with something that resonates with you. Next one, always have something beautiful within sight, even if it's just a daisy in a jelly glass. I like that example. I really like that. Have something that's beautiful. On the last podcast, I was sitting here, kind of like it is now, middle of the day, looking outside, and it was blue sky and sunny. Here it is, December. Very cold outside, but blue sky and sunny. And the sun is shining today. It's a little bit cloudy, but have something beautiful within view. Really good idea. Next one. Take your watch out when on vacations and on weekends. And I even do it at night sometimes. I just want to be unencumbered and fully into what I'm doing, which is sleep. Treat yourself to a massage. I don't do that very much. Do you? Reread your favorite book. Thought about that. Which one is it? Came up with some ideas. Take a nap. And this said on a Sunday afternoon, but take a nap any day, even if it's for a few minutes. Learn to make bread. Thought that was a really cool one. I've never done that. But when I'm discovering something or making something with my hands, there's a certain resonancy I have with the deeper part of myself, the fact that I put my hands on something and it be something else. It's amazing. And I love that. Surprise your loved ones with unexpected gifts. Go do that. Go do that today. Type out your favorite quote and put it where you will see it every day. It's your favorite quote. There's a reason. It goes into your heart for some reason, or you understood it in a certain way the day that it became your favorite. And maybe you need to recycle that reasoning every day. Never miss the opportunity to ride a roller coaster or whatever. Just don't miss opportunities. In business, I've missed a few early in my business, and I have some regrets about not pushing in in areas I should have. It's making some decisions, some opportunities I see in front of me today because I didn't choose that 35 years ago, and making today's a little more difficult because had I learned more about it, even if I didn't engage in it, I would have had that knowledge for my lifetime. That knowledge would have grown seeds and then grown into something fruitful. So don't miss opportunities, and in this case, to ride a roller coaster. Never pass up a chance to be in a parade. My first one was this last summer, and I was driving the vehicle, and that was actually pretty cool. I really liked it. It's good to be the center of attention, even if people don't know your name for that moment. And then the loud and just the joy of a parade. It's pretty cool. Try it someday. Buy a box of animal cookies and share them with a child. I will be this next week with some of my grandchildren, and I actually think I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the store at some point, probably will be at the store at some point, and buy a box of those and then share them with, at very least, my youngest grandchild that I'll be with this week. And just see how that goes for us. I think it's going to be great. Let's see. Compliment 3 people every day. I don't do that, and I should. I should. Leave a quarter in the change, returns spot of a vending machine. This is the one that said telephone. Some are always checked. It's true. People check. I still check sometimes, like it's not really a thing I do, but every now and then I was like, oh, I'm standing here looking at this stuff. Well, I guess before I do that, let me see if there's anything in the slot. And then keep a notebook with a list. Write down something beautiful you saw each day. Now, I may consider doing that. I may consider doing that as part of my daily routine because I do write things down every morning, almost every morning, at least 4 mornings a week. I'm writing something down, scripture, some thoughts, something. I like the next one. Kiss slowly. I heard some research that said if you kiss for more than 6 seconds with your spouse, with your significant other, that the connection is, the intimacy is deeper. And in every possible way, the relationship is better. Just with that one daily action. Interesting. Very interesting. And a 20-second hug will do much the same thing. Wow. That's mind-blowing to me. Forgive quickly. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I bring these scenarios up in my head and just keep talking through it in my head, and that's not super constructive either. Forgive quickly. Call 3 friends on Thanksgiving. Well, tell them you're thankful for their friendship. I didn't do that exactly, but I did send messages to a lot of people, but it's a good reminder. Call them, voice to voice, person to person, face to face, and tell them. That's a good idea. Here's a fun one. Put a lot of marshmallows in your hot cocoa. Well, I don't really care for marshmallows all that much. So you have to kind of fashion what that will be for you, that indulgence. Maybe it's whipped cream on a piece of pie. Maybe it's extra sugar in your coffee or honey on a biscuit or something. I don't know what it would be. I like a couple of these next one here. Take some silly photos of yourself and a friend in a photo booth. That's always fun to do. Great memories. Wade in a creek or in the ocean every chance you get. Don't rip yourself off of being able to. Super fun to do. Yeah, anyway, got to try it. Let's see. Give a popular children's book to a youngster after reading it yourself. Good advice. Good advice. Read a children's book. Now that I have grandkids that'll sit down with me and read a book, let me read a book all the way through. Some of them are quite intriguing. Some of them are actually horrible, and I'd like to rewrite them, but it's still interesting about children's books and how they help us think about life. Hold puppies, kittens, and babies every chance you get. Do the tender things. Vacuum while barefoot because it feels good. Interesting. Carry a kite in the trunk for use on windy days. I suppose it implies that on windy days, you take it out and do it, right? Stop at a playground. Try out the swings and slide. Still do that sometimes. Now that I have grandkids, more often than I have, but that is also a good thing to try. Memorize your favorite love poem. I don't know if I'm ever going to do that, although I am memorizing Bible verses more than I have been, and it's really hard work. The more you use that muscle of memory, it's like a muscle. Memorizing things is a really good idea, and the more you use it, the better you get at it. I did notice that I'm a little flabby on that muscle and not very good at it at the moment, but I'm working on it. Got a couple of things I want to memorize by the end of the year, which is roughly a month away. Buy an inflatable pillow for your bathtub. Well, I don't take baths, but I can see what that means is when you're doing something that you're comfortable with, that you love and enjoy, go that little extra thing to appreciate it even more. That's good advice. Let's see. Never miss an opportunity to sleep on a screened-in porch. That is cool. That is a cool one. I like that. Never regret any money spent on books or fresh flowers. It's not a waste. Never refuse a holiday dessert. Believe in miracles, but don't depend on them. Use a picture of a loved one as a bookmark. I really like this one. I think I might do that. I have some grandchildren. I have other people. I think I might make a bookmark out of it. Hold a child's hand every chance you get. Now, of course, that's appropriately. I think about the times recently when I've been walking with one of my grandsons or granddaughters, and it's like, man, this is just precious. There's such trust there, and then such safety. Like I'm creating safety, and they're living, they're abiding in that safety. It's pretty incredible. Remember, there are 3 universal healers, and these will have to be a different list for each person because this is old. This is old, and they've been found to not be 100% this way. One of them is solid, though. Calamine lotion, which back in the day healed all things. Warm oatmeal, and hugs. Hugs are a great thing. They are a universal healer. Say something positive as early as possible every day. And I don't see it that way often, and I probably should, and so should you. Look for something positive. You don't like maybe being out of bed. You don't like having to get up and go to the meeting or go to work or do the thing that you have to do first thing in the morning. But if we talk positively, say positive things, even out loud to ourselves, then it's still going to give us the same joy. And the last, but of course not least, don't forget that all important truths are simple. All important truths are simple. And I know that this is about feelings a little bit and about indulgences and such things like that. But I also appreciate the fact that this list reminds me to take pleasure in the things that have been given to me to take pleasure in, that are all correct and good in front of me, which is many of the little things, which is appreciating something beautiful, which is appreciating my friends, appreciating, remembering to take the next step, take opportunities to say the positive thing. And I have appreciated since yesterday when I was at that doctor's office, the reminder to do things well. If I do things well in regards to this positivity, and not just to be positive, but to like what is behind the positivity? Well, the things that are beautiful, especially in nature, were built that way. They were made that way by an intentional creator. And so they've been given as a blessing. And you'll treat them as a blessing because they are. Well, that's how I will end this podcast. But I always end it by talking about greatness in some way or another. I believe we're all put on this earth to be more than average, to be better than average. And this list has a lot to do with that. It's not me taking a ton of action on things. It's just me opening my mind to noticing many of the things that are still around me, taking the opportunities as they come my way. And those are not all created. Most of them are not created by me. So that's the cool part. So part of my greatness is just being aware, increasingly and aware and ever aware of what has been provided for me already. Think about the miracles one. Well, those miracles are provided, and I shouldn't rely on those for my life breath, but but the miracles are something that I shouldn't be surprised by, but I can't rely on them every day of my life. Taking action on the next step and all of that is something that's important. And especially in regards to greatness. You can be great, therefore you should be great. You should, as opposed to being average. That being said, I finish with Zig Ziglar's quote. One of them, one of the hundreds. You were designed for accomplishment. Engineered for success. And endowed with the seeds of greatness. That is true. Think on this list. Reach out in any possible way that you want on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Oh, by the way, I have 2 accounts on Facebook. You need to get on the business account, which is the red one, the one with the red background. That's the one that I'll be on as a response to most of these podcasts and podcast shorts. And then, of course, you can reach out on YouTube, and hopefully I'll get notifications there. Look forward to hearing from you. But Instagram is the one that gives me the best notifications and easiest to get to your messages, and also LinkedIn. It's fairly simple also. I get emails on that when you send something out on LinkedIn. Look forward to hearing from you. Please do. Now, call to action. Now go be great. It's your choice.